Great Thursday to everyone. My name is Matt Miller, room tilter here at Limitless Minds. Hope this finds all of you having a good morning, good afternoon, a good evening. Welcome to 11:30 Eastern Central Time right now. Ellie Nelson, I see you in the chat as well. We first and foremost want to just thank everyone who shows up consistently, much like we're trying to do as well, to provide consistency in getting our reps in on how to get better. And I am joined by my fellow room tilter, Karla. Karla, come on to the screen. And
hey, man.
And what I love about, for those of you that don't know, we have a couple things behind the scenes. First of all, we got Andre behind the scenes, and we don't thank Andre and Mari enough. So thank you, number one. And number two, we always tune in a little early and we always do a little pre-chat. And Karla is a mother of three. I'm a dad of three. And I know not everyone is parents, but in the topic today, it couldn't resonate more, not only as adults, but those of us that deal with others, and especially those of us with kids. And so
Yes.
we'll try to keep this a little bit of workplace Wednesday and Thursday and keep the professional side, but it's hard not to have the personal side come in when we talk about the topic of doing it now.
Yes. Yes. So thank you so much for kicking us off. When I think about this idea of doing it now, I think about all the reasons why we often delay, right? But before I dive into that, I want to talk about gratitude. Because on this Thriving Thursday, I feel like gratitude is a key part of the Thrive Kit, right? And before I met this amazing crew called Limitless Minds, it was Thankful Thursday. So Thankful Thursday leads to a Thriving Thursday.
Let's go.
Matt, I'm going to ask you, what are you thankful for?
So I am thankful this Thursday, coming to you live from St. Louis, Missouri, that I can start to wear some fall clothing, because I woke up and it was a little, not chilly, but it was like cool out. And I'm just, as much as I love summer, I'm ready for fall for just like a multitude of reasons. And so just that feeling of coming out, fresh air, the morning walk is crisp, was a great start to my day. How about you? What are you grateful for today?
Incredible. I am grateful that it was not over 100 degrees this morning when I did my walk. I just love that the crispness is coming out where you are. I'm grateful that I shared my walk with my kids this morning. I often guard that time, as myself. I'm getting ready to reset, to have an amazing day. But I shared it with them. We did some mindset work with them this morning. We did some math drills, all while walking in the park.
Let's go.
Yeah. And then the third thing that I'm thankful for, honestly, is to be the opportunity to be in this space with you. I really enjoy your spirit, love your background, learned today that you were a school principal for 25 years. And now I know why you're such a great coach. Absolutely. So,
Well,
yeah.
Thank you. Right back at you.
Yeah.
And so Karla teed us up today on this topic of doing it now. And so we're going to kind of run you through today. So Rebecca, thanks for tuning in. Ellie, as you know, you're one of our favorites. We're all favorites at Limitless Minds. But this whole topic of doing it now, the reasons we delay, the cost of delay, but most importantly, what Karla and I are most excited about is we know time is our greatest asset. We don't do a good job leading it sometimes. And when we don't, that leads to all sorts of steps. So what we want to make sure more than anything today is we leave you with just some next right steps. And we're going to throw a bunch of things at you. Hopefully one sticks, because our job is, by the end, that after this call, you know what a next right step is. And it's ironic we have Ellie tuning in, because I was following some of her social posts the other day, and she was talking about distractions and how we're in this world right now where everyone's trying to steal our focus, right? My new line is, life has an algorithm, right? And so the more you start putting your attention elsewhere, it's going to continue to take you down those paths. So Karla, get us started on this whole theme of doing it now. I'm excited.
Yes. Oh gosh. So this was resonating with me because I feel like I have a few task lists that I've been dragging around for a while. Okay. Um, why we delay, right? Why do I drag the list around? Why do I not just do it now? Why do I not just get into it? And I think one of the reasons is because of the perfectionism, right? This fear that I won't get it right, so I'm not going to get it done at all, right? I'm going to delay it until I can do it right. Okay. And many times, high achievers are so focused on perfection that they don't do what's just possible, right?
Yep, totally.
The reason we delay is because we're afraid of success. We are afraid of getting started. We're afraid of the risk of getting started. We're afraid of what could happen if it goes wrong. And sometimes we're just as afraid of what could happen if it goes right.
Yep.
Will I be ready? Will I be able to perform? Will I be able to deliver? Right. And then I think one of the third reason why I think so many of us delay is because of analysis paralysis. We are so intelligent that we have to research the whole thing. We have to look at all the options and all the angles. And if we've not done that, then we are not considered fully prepared, right? And operating in excellence. So we procrastinate because of our perfectionism. We put it off because of our fear, right? And then I think that third reason is because of analysis paralysis. We're just so smart that we get caught up in the yarn ball of trying to do all the research.
Totally. And the two things that, as I listened to you, that came to mind, one was the research. When I realized how common it was for people to get stuck like this,
Mhm.
and they make a to-do list, and all of a sudden it overwhelms them, and then they don't know where to start. Right? Is that the research I have been reading about reminds us that we're not so much avoiding or delaying the task, we're delaying because the feeling that we have when we start the task. Just like that, it's like writing the research paper. If you can get the first line down, right, and get started. So we're avoiding more the feeling of what we know it's going to be. But once we start it, then we're fine, right? And nine
Good.
times out of 10, once you jump into it, it's like, oh, that wasn't bad at all, right?
That's
And then
good.
and the line I use a lot in coaching is, we that analysis by paralysis is, ready, aim, fire, and we spend much time on aiming that we don't get something initiated. So my phrase is always like ready, fire, like get some stuff ready, get it out there and get it moving, start taking some next steps, because then that's going to lead to whatever some next, and then we can aim it while it's in motion, kind of like building that plane in the air a little bit.
Yes.
But that avoids us just getting stuck in aim, and then we never get anything initiated because we have that analysis by paralysis.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Ready, fire. I love that so
Yeah,
much.
get some next step going, because the next step leads to the next step. Like you
Right,
got to
right.
you got to keep stepping,
Action builds momentum.
which builds, yeah, motivation, right?
Wow. So this makes me, and by the way, hi, Rebecca. Good to see you. Hey, Ellie. Great to see you. Thank you guys so much for being here and for expressing gratitude for these lives. I just love it. Um, so let us know if you have questions about productivity or this idea of doing it now or procrastination or any of that. Because I think I'm pretty well versed in, in both,
We all are.
right?
We all are.
I've got some strategies for doing it well, and I've got some tried and true strategies for not doing it well as well, right? All
And that's, what, that's a great point. As Rebecca and Ellie are chatting in,
Mhm.
the first topic we're addressing here is reasons we delay, right? And
Yes.
so if you have others, Ellie, Rebecca, I see a couple names there, chat them on in. And so number two, Karla, what I loved about our planning today was the cost of our delay. Can you
Yes.
speak? Can you speak to that?
Absolutely. So again, I love talking in threes. Okay. So I think the first cost is that we get more afraid. The longer we delay the thing, right? The longer we think about it, the longer we worry about it, the longer we get concerned about it, it gets bigger and bigger in our minds, right? And it becomes a bigger boogeyman. It becomes a bigger bag of tricks. It becomes a bigger box of the unknown, right? And,
Totally.
and, and so it haunts us, right? We get more and more afraid. I think, secondly, we feel more and more guilty, which is not a helpful emotion. It's just not. It never has been, right? I think having a desire to change is great. Having a desire to do better is great. Seeking forgiveness is great. But just the guilty feeling, right? It's just
Yep.
not useful. It's not helpful. It will eat you alive.
Yep.
I think for me, it's the ball in the belly, right? Maybe for others, it's a knot in the throat. Many of us, it's the tightness in the shoulders, right? But at the end of the day, you just start feeling more guilt, and that's not a healthy emotion, right? So those are two personal costs that I like to think about. But then the third cost is it never gets done. And so now the world is robbed of your brilliance, of your contribution, of the thing that you were going to birth. Like, it's flat out robbery. You know, the thing never gets done. Now, here's something. There are some things that didn't need to get done. Okay. And you just added it to the list because you like list making. Okay. It wasn't it wasn't useful. It wasn't your best and highest. You weren't going to be operating in your gift. You weren't in your zone of genius. It was just there. But if you're being honest, there are a ton of things that would have been a game changer for you, for your business, for your life, for your team, or for someone else had you done them. And they're still waiting in the garden, just growing up weeds.
Love it.
Right? Yeah.
So I love that first point you made of because the second we delay, the saboteur shows up and says, "Yep, I told you weren't gonna do it right away," and da
Mhm.
da da da. And then, like you said, guilt shows up.
Mhm.
Well, what do we teach at Limitless Minds? The past is irrevocable. Okay,
Mhm.
yesterday was a bad day. I didn't accomplish any of the most important things I should have done. I got caught in urgent and important, and I just
Mhm.
reacted to that, and I wasn't courageous enough to lock in my time or whatever, right? And
Mhm.
so, what do we know is true? Getting to that neutral space says, okay, past is irrevocable, nothing I can do about it. So, what's in my circle of control right now? Easier said than
Mhm.
done, right?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
today's theme is acknowledging, okay, how do I just keep taking the next right step?
Mhm.
Because I describe it as the more we're not doing things, the backpack just gets heavier and heavier. And it's all the stuff we
Yes.
know we need to do,
Yeah.
but it just keeps bogging us down. And it's not,
Yeah.
no, grab one out and start doing it and, start taking those next right steps. And so
Mhm.
just the cost of that, I think you hit it straight on, is our negative self-talk's going to show up even more. We're going to feel more guilty, and then again it's that analysis, then we're paralyzed again, right, in a different
Yep.
way,
Yep. And I
and we don't
think,
know how to get out of it.
yeah, I think dealing with that fear, that gets bigger, dealing with that guilt that gets worse, and dealing with knowing that you didn't pour out the gift, right? It starts to impact your self-concept, and starts to impact your sense of self-efficacy,
Yep.
right? Your belief that you can do, that you can make a difference. And it's really, really important to have a strong self-concept, right? And have a strong sense of self-advocacy. So going back to the point that you made, right? Doing begets doing. Taking action
Totally.
creates more action. Getting started creates momentum. And this helps to build your self-concept, your sense of self-worth, self-value, all of that. And it's just that important to avoid getting caught into that cycle of the fear and the guilt and the regret that comes from not doing.
Love it.
So yeah, that's counting the cost.
And that whole theme, I hope people are tuning in hear what Karla just said, is like we just have to stay moving,
Mm,
and that movement creates that. And one of the
mhm,
things leading up to today's call, all my clients have access to my calendar, and they're 15-minute time blocks. And I think the average person would be like, you can't get anything done in 15 minutes. And in 15 minutes, to Rebecca's point, like Rebecca chatted in, I like to chat with somebody. Well, what I love about 15-minute little coaching sessions are what's going on, what's in our circle of control, and what's our next right step. And in that short amount of time, we're not, I know unpacking emotions and feelings and guilt and all that's important, but in that time frame, it forces us to do exactly what we're talking about today, which is be diligent with your time. It's your greatest asset. And so in that short amount of time, we have no choice. It's like, hey, we got 12 minutes left. So whatever that theme is. And so to Rebecca's point, it's good to huddle up with somebody and run it by somebody.
Yep.
I'm blessed to be in this Limitless Minds family. I have access to so many great people, and all of us do, right? Lean on your circle of people to be like, hey, I'm thinking about this. What do you think? Great. All right. That's the nudge I needed to fire it. And then we'll aim it a little bit more as it's going.
Oh, I love that. Look, the 15 minutes that you just described got me pumped. Like, I'm excited, right? There's a sense of urgency, you ask those 3 questions, you get us focused. I can feel the energy that comes from that just by you describing it.
And I remind people that the more you can, and which I'm excited about getting to this third step, which is giving people the tools to do this, because when you're diligent with your time and you're courageous and you say, Karla, I have 15 minutes. Hey, we have 4 minutes left. You're actually teaching the other person and empowering them to be more diligent with their time as well. So as much as you're being courageous, I think it's the most greatest act of respect that we can do with others is respect their time. And so let's jump into this third piece, which is what are some tools and practices that people can take? And Karla and I are just going to throw a bunch at you, and hopefully one sticks. And then by the end of this call, everyone can leave with, that feels like a good next right step for me.
I love it. Look, I'm practicing the do it now and the do it afraid.
Yeah, I love it.
Right. I confess to being a visionary who's got a ton of big ideas that scare me, right? Who's got big goals that scare me, things I've never manifested before, I've never seen or done before, but I think they could be done, they should be done, and I could probably do them, right? And I added the probably because I still am scared, right?
Yeah.
I can do it.
Got to watch that language, Karla. Got to watch that language.
Right.
I'm going to take steal that probably out of there.
I love it. I can do these things, right? I can do these things. And so, yeah, do it now is the topic, but do it now is also the strategy, right? That's number 3. How do we stop delay? We do it now, right? And we do it imperfectly, right? And we get started. We get started.
Yep.
What if we worked in 2-minute blocks? Because one of the thieves of our time is busyness, right? Oh, I'm too busy for that. My schedule's too packed. I can't do that now because I'm busy. I'm looking at my calendar. I'm busy, right? So busy's robbing us of doing it now.
Yep.
Busy's robbing us if possible, right? So what if you did 2 minutes worth on the thing that's been scaring you, that you've been dragging around? And sure enough, when I do 2 minutes, I've gotten started. I've put something down, and now I have momentum.
Love it.
Right. And I was able to fit the 2 minutes in between all the busyness.
There you go. So I'm gonna hit on that topic right there, because one of the biggest buckets I help people with is time management. And all of our clients, we plan the week before the week begins. We time block our day. We have our to-do list, but what are the most important things in our day, right? And so there's a lot of research around kind of what you said with 2 minutes. If it can be handled in 2 minutes, do it, right? Or to your point, give it 2 minutes. And even though I've dedicated 45 minutes to it or 60 minutes, it gets me started, and now I'm ready to go instead of just sitting there for 60 minutes and not knowing what to do. Now, some of you might be tuning in and being like, well, I don't know if it's going to take me 2 minutes or 10 minutes, and then I got this next thing on my calendar. Fine. Then time block an hour and leave this list of little things for that hour that shows up. So let's say at 12 o'clock when I'm off this call, okay, from 12 to 1 is my little things, right? And from 12 to 1, I'm just going to lock in and do as many of those things as possible. So if it comes at you and you can handle it, that's one thing. If not, you can put it on the list, which is okay, right? But make sure that there's a time block in your day that you're handling those. And so again, it's just that theme of being more courageous on when you're going to do the things that come at you.
I love it. And I love your concept of courage, right? Being courageous. It's, okay, to be clear, right? Sometimes we hear the word courage or courageous. We think of a superhero with a specific outfit on and a specific 2 hour, 5 minute, film, right? And so to have you introduce courageous in our everyday, in the 12 to 1 o'clock block to do the little things, right, is so empowering. And I know you use courageous all the time. It's one of your things, right? But it's just really empowering to hear we show up courageous when we get the little things done in the 1 hour time block.
And
it
doing the
does take
little
courage.
things, right? And it's the reminder of courage is the doing simple better, right? Just how many of us tuned in today, planned our week, and we know kind of today, and we know hour by hour what intentions we've set for each hour. That's being courageous, because you're saying, you know what? I'm going to set an intention every hour of my day. Now, it might not go that way, and most of them don't, but at least I've determined what the big things are. I'm going to wake up. I have my morning routine. I'm going to go for a walk with the kids. You obviously thought ahead of that, because then you incorporated some stuff into the walk, which was a win-win, right? And I got a call here at 11:30, and we're setting our intentions, right? So when things come at us, we can be like, hey, that's an urgent and important to you, but it's not urgent and important to me. So I'm going to stay locked in on that thing that I'm doing now, because it's the most important for me. And and that takes this balance of courage and consideration, right? And so I just say that because I think we talk a lot here at Limitless Minds about do simple better, and being courageous with your time, planning your week, planning your day is the first step in that process. And so I think whether it be a theme for the last 2 weeks, Karla, is with my clients is if you schedule an hour for it, only spend 45 minutes on it. And 9 times out of 10, that person's like, yeah, I got it done within 45 minutes. Well, guess what we just gained? 15 minutes to come back to your little to-do list of the little things that you can knock out before the top of the hour for the next thing, right?
I love it.
And we've highlighted that before. There's another technique out there called the
Pomodoro.
Yeah, same thing, right? Give it 25 minutes, give yourself a 5-minute break, readjust, go back into the 25. And so I think the more techniques people can use to just be diligent with their time, the more courageous that time blocking gives you the courage to be like, no, I said I was going to do this now. I'm going to do it now.
Yeah. Okay. You know what I've been thinking about for the last minute that you've been talking? The monkey wrench. So you had a great plan. You time blocked. It was an hour. You worked for 45. In the 15 minutes, a small being shows up and asks, right? Has a fever, right?
Yeah.
Or asks for ice cream. Ice cream is typically an easy no for me. The fever is always a monkey wrench. It's a huge challenge, right? I just want to know, like, how do you time block in a way that allows you to push past the monkey wrenches, right? That allows you to push past the things you weren't expecting, but that you feel compelled to do. I appreciate, courage versus consideration, right? I'm using courage to direct my day with intention. I've got to balance it between consideration for the needs of others, things that might come up, whatever. So I'm just curious, how are you making that decision and being able to stay the course when the monkey wrench comes in?
Well, it's ironic because one of my coaching calls right before this was a person that just the whole week has been what we call Q1, which is just responding to urgent and important, like all week, has not got to anything that was important to them because all they're responding to is everyone else. So what's the knee jerk there? Well, why am I taking the time to plan my week when it never goes that way anyway? So then now we're not even going into a plan for the week. Now we're just going to let everything that's coming at us respond to us. Now we're really in a vicious circle. And so I think it does. It's what I talked about earlier is when I'm courageous and I look at you, Karla, you come to me and you're like, hey, Matt, can you help me with this? If I can respond in a respectful way, in a courageous way, again, balance of courage and consideration, and say, Karla, can I have 4 more minutes? Because I really need to finish this call with my friend, and then I can respond to you. What you're teaching them is you're empowering them to be more courageous with their time as well. We can't be people that are saying no to people that want help, right? We're people that want to be helping others. That's a greatest value we can have. But you also at times need to be courageous, because if you're being high considerate, then you're never going to get to your most important, because you're not stepping up and saying, you know what, these are the 2 or 3 most important things I need to get done today. And one of them's gonna be walking with my kids.
Yes.
Right.
That is so powerful. And I'm telling you, it resonates so much. You know, I spent a decade in big law, responding to client demands, right? Representing Fortune 500 companies and high net worth individuals. And it always felt like a fire drill. I was committed to urgent, whether urgent and important, urgent and not important, urgent. I operate on urgent, you know.
Yeah.
And it's
And then
not right.
and then what happens? We burn out.
Absolutely. Your
you
adrenal
can't-
glands
you
literally
can't-
quit on you.
Totally. Exactly. So
Yes.
in the respect of exactly what we're talking about today, what is a next right step that you're going to do, Karla, when it comes to being more courageous in the doing it now theme of what we've talked about today?
I'm going to take on my scariest task first.
Love it.
I'm taking on my scariest task first.
What is that book, like Eat the Frog or something like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There have been tons of books written on this topic, but I needed us to talk about it today. So I'm glad we did.
Jamie said, me too, Karla. And by the way, as we wrap
Love
up
it.
here at the top of the hour, doing it first, if you can, we know is one of the most highly effective strategies you can do. Get up, wake up better, try to do as much of that on the list as you can. Those that require other people, you know, are that part. And my next right step is looking at the rest of my day, and are there some windows that I can sneak in a couple extra things that maybe I have for tomorrow that I can maybe sneak in for today. But again, the theme here is being courageous and time blocking our day. And so as we wrap at the top of the hour, Karla, I have to give kudos to you. Karla was the mastermind behind the theme today. I love the rhythm of 3, by the way, and want to remind everyone we have this Limitless Minds app out there. Be staying tuned in. And as you know, we as Room Tilters, if got some others on the call here, Ellie, if there's anything we can be doing to serve you in any way, please let us know. I see a QR code up here. Check that out. Scan it. So until next time, Karla, thank you so much. Thank you for being you. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. Have a great rest of the week.
Thank you, man. You're amazing.
Good to see you. Good to see you all. Take care.